Welcome to this Mastery Empowerment course. Your soul has a plan. This is with Lisa Barnett, and she is an author of 2 books on the Akashic Records, and she's a master teacher on helping others learn how to use these tools of our soul. And this is going beyond our higher self to access the record of our soul. Lisa, thank you and welcome to this course.
Oh, thank you. It is so lovely to be here with you and, of course, with everybody. So, very excited to share this ancient wisdom and this kind of deepening information that's been coming in this time, in these days and months that we've been spending a little bit more time in meditation and sequestered away, cocooned away. So it's been really beautiful to deepen into the spiritual wisdom as the portals open, and so many more of us are allowed really to dive deep where we had been for hundreds and hundreds of years, held back from some of the ancient wisdom that really is our birthright.
That is our birthright. And so tapping into this, I know so many have questions about their soul purpose. I think that's one of the most popular questions that are asked to healers, like, what's my purpose? What's my mission? How do the Akashic records reveal this mission?
So, really looking at your whole soul's plan is one of the really powerful ways to understand your purpose. And because your purpose is not just one simple job description, what the record keepers always like to remind us is that we are all very ancient, infinite souls that have been journeying not only through time here on planet Earth, but through other dimensions, places, planes, planets. And so all of that information and those gifts and talents that you've gleaned through all of these lifetimes are really written about in your Akashic record. So I'm going to take just one quick step back and give you the definition that I use, my quick definition of the Akashic records, just in case. Some people sometimes think, oh, that's just about past lives, and I don't really care about past lives. But the truth is that your Akashic record holds the energetic recording of everything you have ever been or done, everything you have experienced, everything you have really become proficient at, which we often consider our talents or our gifts. And again, as we think about the fact that most of us have lived here probably at least 500, 600, maybe 800 lifetimes on planet Earth alone. The record keeper shocked me the other day. They said, yeah, you've been here about 1,000 lives. And I thought, really? What am I, crazy? What is up with that? But many of us write soul contracts with Gaia, with our dear Mother Earth, to help her and protect her and to be here with her at this time to help humanity to awaken. And so back come all the light workers, I know, including all of you who are watching this right now. You all have some form of soul contract with humanity, with Gaia, with bringing wisdom back to the planet so that we can all awaken and create what we have always been coming here to create, which is a beautiful heaven on earth.
Okay, beautiful. Well, we can begin your presentation for our course today and how you share how people can really use these records for all facets of their life, including even abundance and how we may be blocking that. We do hear light workers feel that they have that block. And so this is all in the Akashic record and the importance of really going deep and learning about our soul's plan.
So I love to kind of take the soul plan. It would be like if you wrote a business plan, before you started a business. So there's many different pages and facets and areas of your soul's plan. So I'm just going to kind of dive in and talk about these different areas. And I'm sure because the Akashic record keepers love us to do some group healing and clearing, maybe we'll do a little bit around abundance, and see what shows up to be cleared as we share this information today. So if you think about your soul plan, and you can imagine that your soul, before you came to earth, said, what do I want to do when I come to earth this time? Who do I want to be with? What gifts do I want to share? What do I want to learn as a soul? What learning am I able to complete? And often that we call that kind of energy karma. Those can be the challenges or the traumas that show up in our life. And those are old patterns, old karmic patterns of growth that we haven't quite worked through yet. So when I look at karma, I always think, oh, that's just kind of like an incomplete. Like if you were in taking a university course and you didn't finish it, maybe you got a D and you're like, okay, well, I can't have that, so I'm going to take it over again. And you go back and you repeat the whole course, and this time you get an A. Karma works really the same way. We as souls come to earth because we love it here, because it's gorgeous and glorious in so many ways, but also because it is one of the rare dimensions that we can truly learn from in these bodies, with our emotions, with the whole physical sense that we experience here when we're embodied. It gives us an opportunity to grow in a different sort of way than any other place or dimension ever does. So here we are, we're thinking, okay, what am I going to do? What am I going to learn? And so I always like to kind of see our soul contracts as ways to support other people. So most of us will write maybe 25 to 50 soul contracts with the people that we choose to share time with on earth. And some of those contracts are for significant partnerships. Some are for parents or children or business partners. Some are even for best friends. You sometimes find that twin flame is a best friend of yours. So even when we look at words like twin flame, the record keepers like to remind us that not only as a soul do we split into two pieces and have, just that other half or that twin, but often as we go through our life as a huge soul, we break into hundreds of pieces. And so your soul family grows and multiplies as the original 50 souls break into numerous pieces. You might end up with 50,000 soul family members after everybody by the time we get here to earth. And so that's actually really a great gift. That means that we are really rarely alone. Sometimes it's harder for some people to find soul family members or twin flames or people that they have soul contracts with. And that may be because you chose to live a little bit more of a singular life, at least for a while, so that you could grow around some sort of learning. And sometimes it's about self-love, self-sufficiency, being able to stand in your own light and your own power. Even it can be unencumbered by others, or as so many of us know, it is not easy to be alone and to literally step into the energy, the light, and the wisdom and the truth of who you are. And for many of us, we find that we are more able to do that when we have a little time alone, when we go on a retreat. Sometimes, people go on a silent retreat for a week or a month, and they find that is so transformational because they actually were able to own their own physical body and really literally get everybody out of their head so they could really hear their soul, their higher selves, and maybe even start to connect up into the higher vibrations of your Akashic records. So we write numerous soul contracts. We have group contracts to do things together as a group. There are many soul contracts on the planet, which has been around balancing masculine and feminine energy in the world right now. And we were blessed just last year to have that divine feminine portal open. I believe it's still open, maybe still open for a little while. I don't think it's going to stay open permanently, but it's woken up so many people, men and women, to step into the soul contract of helping others to rebalance masculine and feminine energy. It's really one of the big things that's going on in our planet, even in our government, all over the world, in our businesses, with so like presidents or vice presidents of a company. Often they were the all powerful, a lot of male energy, whether it's a corporation or a country. There has been a great thousands of years of the divine, of the, not really the divine, the masculine power, right? So it's time for us to bring that divine feminine in, to balance them out. Not the divine feminine is not supposed to be stronger than the masculine either, as it was thousands and thousands of years ago, because we've been flip-flopping back and forth over the last 10,000 years. Now it's time for us to be balanced. So you may find that you have a soul contract as a group to help with that process. And sometimes that's in our own personal relationships with a significant partner. Sometimes it's within our own body, balancing our own divine masculine with our own divine feminine in our physical body, because we have both of those energy channels running through our body. So you might notice the imbalance, whether you are a doer, right? Running a lot of that left brain, go, go, go energy, or maybe you are running a little bit more of the feminine creative being energy, but bringing them into balance so that we can be creative and then do to bring that out into the world. So it's important always for that balance. And so we have numerous group contracts on the planet at this time. And so you may have written one of those into your soul's plan. So this huge plan, we write about significant partners, and we often write a dozen or more soul contracts to have a significant partner. And sometimes we go through a few of those because there might be karma attached, which means there may be some learning and growth in each of those, say, first 3 relationships that you've had. Sometimes we find that we get married and we learn and we realize something, and then we move on. Maybe we get separated or divorced. And then there's new people that show up, and they're a different energy because we've learned and we've grown from that process. And so now we're able to move forward, call in some of those new soul contracts for maybe higher vibrational significant partnerships. So I always say, never fear moving out of the old if it is no longer in alignment to your soul. And when it's not, you feel that in your heart. You will feel that in your whole body, especially as we start to deepen into connecting up from our heart into our pineal, into our crown chakra, up into our higher wisdom, connecting to really speaking to our higher self, and of course on up into being able to learn to access your own Akashic record keepers who are here to guide and support you. So we have many, like I say, 25, 30, 50, maybe even more varying soul contracts. So lots of people to help and support you unconditionally, right? We always write some around that unconditional love because that is very important for every human, especially as we really start to bring our love and our light out into the world. What we find is when we can expand our hearts and our unconditional love, that there are so many people in our community or in a community that we're maybe searching for. And I love to really share and teach people ways to do that more heart expansion. I have a very fun meditation I call the soul symbol meditation, where we expand our personal soul symbol out into the world to connect to other people, whether it's soul family members or significant partners or people who are here to work with you, maybe they're clients. And so we can energetically really learn to expand our heart and our soul symbol so that we can connect and be found by all those people who are looking for you. So that's a little bit about the soul contracts you write before you come to earth, but you also write about your passions, your gifts, and your talents. So one of the ways the record keepers talk about purpose is that they remind us that in so many different lives, we have had, say, a more specific purpose. So I'll use the healer because I know so many of you are healers. And so you may have come to with that sole purpose of being a healer. Now, the interesting and important thing to know about that is that it doesn't really have any parameters. You could be a hands-on healer. You could become a Reiki master. You could become an acupuncturist. You could, there's so many different options in healing out there, right? I teach quantum healing through the Akashic records. There is, of course, different sorts and names all over the world. So there's that idea of healer. Maybe you're a nutritionist and you use food to heal people. Maybe you have been that in many different lifetimes where you've had the gift of nutrition and herbs and teaching people to be healthy. So even though you have come with kind of a bigger purpose of being a healer, there are kind of numerous lifetimes in which you have been that, and it has varied in these different lifetimes. So it's really fun when we go into our Akashic records to go back and look at the varying lifetimes in which we were a healer. And we can see that lifetime in maybe in ancient Egypt where we were an alchemist. And then in another lifetime where you used the voice, the healing of the voice, the healing through prayer, the healing through, say, ancient Asia with acupuncture or with herbs. Different lifetimes where we have done really hands-on, just by touch. We have been able to heal people. Lifetimes where we were part of the Essenes or different sorts of groups that really were very proficient in energetic healing. And when we understand this, we have a couple of different, options. Of course, we can try many different modalities and we can follow our heart. We can start to follow if I found that, say, I had a chronic illness and I could heal myself through herbs and through food. I may realize that that was my calling onto that soul path. And then I go back and I maybe start studying herbology and become a healer and become a nutritionist and share that wisdom. Or maybe I choose to become an acupuncturist and go back to school and become a doctor of acupuncture. So we have so many different choices. I think that for many of us, it's just kind of confusing. And again, one of the reasons that I love looking at our soul plan, accessing the Akashic records, asking our record keepers, please show me all these different lifetimes in which I was in alignment to the healing, in which I was a healer in different ways. And then we can clear anything that's blocking us from reclaiming that information. And then we can literally reclaim that energy and that information from each of those lifetimes which you were a proficient healer. So this is one of my favorite things to teach people to do in the Akashic Records. When the record keepers first asked me to write a book, I thought, I can't write a book. I can't even spell, right? And of course, people, laugh at me because they were like, well, that's what spell check is for. And I'm like, right, but I never really studied English. I was a terrible student. Honestly, I kind of coasted through because I was bright enough, and so I used all of those kind of, little mental games to say, I can't do that. That's not possible. I can't spell. I don't know grammar, And so the record keepers, after a couple of weeks of that, they said, okay, let's go back and show you all the lifetimes in which you were an author. You have done this before. It's like, you've got this, right? And so I started to say, okay, show me a lifetime in which I could write with ease and reclaim that energy and that calm and that kind of gift of just channeling that information through. And then I said, okay, show me a lifetime in which I was actually a published author. It's one thing to journal. It's another thing to be published. And they did quite a few different past lives in which I was a published author, in which I was well known for the work that I wrote. And so I really went through again and again and again, asking the record keepers for assistance in showing me, calming me down, reclaiming the energy and the information until I really felt able to sit down, get out of my own way, get out of my head, and let them really channel the information right through me. So this is one of the things I love to do in the records. This is how I've written my two books, which are both #1 international best-selling books. And I'm working on 2 more right now because they just always have so much to say that I need to get out of my way and just say, okay, whatever you want to say, let you write those books through me. So we can do this with many of our gifts. Reclaim the information, whether it's about being a healer or more psychic or intuitive, or about writing or teaching. Maybe you want to share some wisdom that you already have, but you're afraid to get out there in public. We can again reclaim those past lives where you could speak proficiently without fear. So there's so much information that you have in your Akashic records that will support you in your life now. And all of that is part of your soul purpose. Now, the other thing they talk about when we think about soul purpose and the gifts and talents we've come to share, some of our gifts and talents are creative in the sense that maybe it's about cooking or parenting, or really allowing ourselves to use the creative energy, which is also so powerful. And as we can get really deep into the creative juices and energy and power, really of the 3rd chakra, that makes it so much easier for us to create and manifest out into the world. So being able to balance our brain left to right, get all of the creative energies in the brain reorganized and flowing so that our brain becomes very, what would you say? Just, we're neither brained, we're not left brained or right brained, we're multi-brained, just like we want to be multi-dimensional, right? And then we bring that into our body. And it's so important as we bring it down into our lower chakras so that we can create and manifest on this earth plane. I think somewhere really in the beginning, we mentioned that often abundance, we feel abundant blocks because of being very, very spiritual. And so many of us have taken vows of poverty in past lives where we were spiritual, where we were monks, or we were priests, or we were nuns, or we were ascetics, or maybe we were meditating in a cave somewhere quite a few thousands of years ago, or hundreds of years ago, or I believe there's still people doing that. So it doesn't matter when we really have some very kind of old vows that no longer serve us. And one of those vows is that vow that says, I will not take money for my gifts. And often it's my spiritual gifts or my God-given gifts is often how we would say it back in the monasteries. So it's important to clear and release those vows of poverty, any place, time, dimension. So we'll just do that now, just for fun, because it's really easy to kind of, since we have this beautiful Akashic group energy going on, I'll just go. We'll ask the record keepers if you wish to have any vows of poverty cleared right here and right now. We'll ask all of your record keepers to step in this beautiful quantum field and uplift and complete any and all vows of poverty, any vows where you said, I will not take money for my gifts or the good I do, where you've believed that it was only good if you did it selflessly. So there's a little of that old martyr energy in there. We want to uplift and clear that too. Beautiful. And then we bring in the beautiful energy of balance. Because what we've really realized over time is that it's all about balance. It's all about a fair and equal exchange. So whether someone's cooking for you and you're doing healing for them, or it's, we're using money for the exchange, it's all perfect and very divine because it's all part of our system. And so when we cut money or that monetary piece out of the exchange, then we're really just kind of lopping off a whole lot of energy that we use in this world. So just opening to receive the abundance of the universe, including a monetary exchange for your gifts and the gifts and talents that you are sharing out into the world. So it becomes a beautiful, I love to see it like a golden liquid light figure 8. So it's the infinity symbol flowing from you and your heart out to your clients, out into the world as you share your gifts and receive the beautiful divine abundance back as that gift to you. So as we start to move into this energy now, creating this new earth, it makes it so much easier to see the abundance of the universe in a different way. And we allow ourselves to move out of any old mindset that money is bad. And so as we just clear and delete any of those old energies, because many of them come down through our ancestral lineage. And so the record keepers are just clearing that out of your ancestral lineage. If you wish, all you just have to do is say, yes, thank you. Yes, please. Clear all of those old money is bad or I don't deserve it out of the ancestral lineage. And of course, the one that shows up all the time is, but you have to work really, really, really hard just to survive. And so let's delete that old belief. Whew. I feel that in my heart. It's just more space. We can create with ease and grace. We can share our gifts and talents. We can share our wisdom and gifts out into the world with ease and receive the abundance of the universe again with beautiful ease and grace. Good. And we just ground that down into our bodies on a cellular level, bringing that present right here and now. Good. Feels good. Lovely. And so as we go through and we read our soul's plan and some of the different gifts and talents that we wanted to share this time. So if you imagine that you've lived thousands of lives here on earth and other places and dimensions, there are way too many gifts and talents to bring into one life, into one body. So we actually choose a little group of talents that we bring into each life. So the record keepers used to explain it to me like a pearl necklace. I always thought it was a beautiful analogy. So they would say, if you imagine that each life in which you were really on task and really proficient in, say, one talent, that would be represented on your necklace by a pearl. And so you have, say, 6 or 8 or 12 lifetimes where you were that proficient healer. And that would give you a beautiful pearl necklace. And so every time you come to Earth, whether you're male or female, you grab up a couple pearl necklaces to take with you, usually 3, 4, 5, 6. And so you have a variety of gifts and talents. The record keepers always say, we would be so bored if we had one purpose, right? What if you finished that purpose by the time you were 20, right? Then what? Maybe it would be a rest life and that could be fun. I'll have to check that out sometime. But really they say we want to really do so much good in our lives every time. And whether that is about the learning and the growth, the completion and really that exchange of ideas and consciousness, updating your consciousness, or sharing your gifts. And so for many of us, we have that talent of being a mother or a father, of bringing life into the world, of nurturing the next generation. And right now it's pretty exciting because we have so many star seeds coming to the planet who are really coming to help us create this new earth. They're coming to help us with new technology, new inventions. And so I'm sure some of you yourselves are those star seeds already, because we have, of course, many even of the first and second wavers are very consciously star seeds, coming with inventions, coming to help with new technology and to change a lot of the things that are already or broken on the planet or haven't been discovered yet. So maybe part of one of the gifts that you've brought is about being a parent, is about sharing your love and your light and your support with a child who's coming to help to transform the world. And that's part of your gifts and talents. That's part of your purpose. And it's a big purpose when we think about raising children, as well as being inventors, as well as letting those purposes of creativity shine out into the world. So I would say that I have a pearl necklace as a mother. I've raised 4 now. Feel very, very blessed to have these beautiful star seeds in my life. And the pearl necklace of the author, right? Those gifts and talents as the author, as well as, of course, the Akashic record channel master teacher. And so bringing that into the world. And so it's very interesting because even when we look at things like communication, that is actually a gift and talent, the communicator, sharing information with the world. And so beautiful people like Loren are here as amazing communicators to help to share people out into the world, to help to share views of different teachers and different information in so many levels and ways. So it's a beautiful gift. And I thank you, Loren, for doing that for us, for doing that and making like this platform possible for us to share. So it's important as we think about our soul's plan, that it is deep, and to not ignore or kind of negate all of those gifts that come so easily to you. I think a lot of people kind of have these gifts that are so natural that they ignore them. They think like, everybody can do that. but that's not actually the truth. That's your gift. That's one of those amazing gifts that came so easily to you. You overlooked it for possibly years and years and years, 10, 20, 30, 40 years. I'm working with some of the beautiful first wavers who are coming back around at 60 or 70 and realizing some of the gifts that they've had that they have not really claimed or put focus or intention on. And it's never too late. That's another wonderful thing the record keepers love to remind us. It comes all in perfect divine timing. So maybe that gift is supposed to come out when you're 60 or 70 and have a little bit more time, or the world has changed and is ready for that information that it wasn't really ready for 50 years ago. And so as we delve deep into our soul's plan and into our Akashic records, we can really start to deepen and understand and reclaim so much of this information. And then as we look at our soul plan and we look at, not only our gifts and talents and our soul contracts, but there are all these other layers, right, that we look at often as the learning and the growth and the karma and the energy patterns, as well as levels of new wisdom that you have come to rediscover or remember, or maybe learn for the very, very first time. And so our soul plan is also filled with kind of newness and excitement as we really look at some of the kind of the bigger pictures, the galactic, the world, maybe who I've been on Lyra or in Andromeda or on Sirius or in the Pleiades. So there's much galactic information that we have also come to reclaim and remember, because the record keepers are wanting to remind us that this is one of the ways that we are going to create this new earth. It comes from kind of re-envisioning, envisioning new possibilities as we remember some of the amazing old lives and worlds that we've had, worlds and planets and dimensions we've lived in. So I find a lot of that information is so expansive and so exciting. It helps us really to often change our trajectory. I know that sometimes we get stuck in old patterns and old ideas. Sometimes we get stuck in the old emotional pain. And so in the Akashic Records, I teach you how to heal a lot of this old pain and trauma so that we truly can clear what we call that old karmic, that old karma, that old karmic wheel. The record keepers say that all the karmic patterns have been cleared in the higher dimensions. And so it's just really now for us to realize that. So it's much easier than it has been in the past. And this is, again, some of the gifts the record keepers have given us: simple and profound healing prayers, a beautiful prayer of forgiveness to help to clear and release that old karma from our lives, to be able to move forward with love and compassion, consciousness as we awaken and as we raise our vibration. Another gift that we're giving to ourselves, to our families, our soul group, and of course, as it ripples out into humanity, what we're gifting is awakening. Every little step of raising our vibration is helping that to ripple out into the world. So not that long ago, less than probably 10 years ago, when I first started, well, it's closer to 30 years ago when I first started working in the Akashic Records, but when I first started to look at kind of the energy and the vibration that we were in, and went back and looked at moving out of the lower levels of vibration and looking at where we were 10 years ago, and we were still pretty low energetically, still under that kind of 200 point on a scale of 0 to 1,000. Humanity was still hanging under 200. We were still in the shame and the blame and the guilt vibration. And pretty recently, in the last year, we have popped over 200. We are moving up into 250, up into these higher vibrations. And as we keep moving higher by raising our consciousness, by meditating, by accessing your higher self and your Akashic wisdom, by asking our guides for help and healing and understanding. As we do this healing work for ourselves, we are rippling that higher vibration out to the planet. And I know that so many of you over the last, it might be the last couple of months, and it might be for you the last few years, you have noticed your friends changing. The people that you resonate with have changed. Some of our good old friends just kind of left. We didn't get along with them anymore. Sometimes it was painful or sad. But when we can start to realize that we need to match people vibrationally, and that makes it so much easier to continue as we're growing and raising our vibration up into the higher energies and realms and out galactically. So in order to receive more of our higher vibrational information, galactic information, starseed, planetary information, as well as the Akashic records, it is really about just easily doing your own soul work, knowing the karma is done. So let's understand it and move into that place of forgiveness, gratitude, and compassion. And of course, the record keepers love to remind us that compassion is truly going to be what's going to flip our world. Going into that space of unconditional love for every human being on the planet. Moving into the deep knowingness that we are all one. Even if we can't wrap our brains around it, we don't need our brains to know it, right? We only need our hearts to drop into the space of clear cognizance, the clear knowingness that we are all one and we are creating a new earth together. And it's so powerful and so beautiful. And actually, what the record keepers would love to have me do, they have given me 73 prayers in one of my books to transform the world. And I would love to do the prayer. Let me just find it really quickly because, of course, the prayer for world peace. So I love doing these healing prayers that I've channeled from the Akashic record keepers. So they hold the pure energy of unconditional love, the vibration of source, which is where the Akashic field is part of source. So it's pure love. And as we just take a nice breath, you can close your eyes if you are in a place where that's comfortable. And we take a nice deep breath and drop back down into our heart. And as I breathe into my heart, I know I am peace. And this peace permeates my heart. And as I feel it in the depth of my soul, I expand this peace to embrace the world. I am peace. I know this is true for me. And I know that this is true for all of humanity. And so it is. Blessed be. So just letting yourself feel that energy as it expands out, connecting with every soul on earth, creating a beautiful golden grid, heart to heart. of pure peace, unconditional love, and joy. Just letting yourself receive that energy and love from all of humanity around the world. Beautiful. So it is. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that with me. I love to see the beautiful love and peace grid as it expands and connects. Every time we do that, we can do that sitting in our room in the morning and just feel, see, expand that energy out. And we know that it is true for us and it is true for humanity.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Lisa. We are feeling that. And you have connected us to this wisdom within us. I know that some are like, oh, how do I get that? How do I reclaim it? And that's what makes you a perfect guide for so many, because you've done this yourself. This is an inside journey of you reclaiming your mastery in the lives that you worked with the Akashic records, in the lives that you were a writer. And it's so beautiful. So, we're going to talk about ways that people can work with you in your courses and your trainings. But I just want to say how beautiful I am peace. And we can literally expand that to embrace our world. That right there is New Earth. And that is so powerful that I just want to take a moment and honor you for that prayer. So it is.
Blessed be.
And the beautiful message of balance, balance, balance. In our world today, we're getting that word um, first and foremost in our face. Everything's becoming something to be balanced, whether that's our new home life, as this year of 2020 seems to be resetting everything to new foundations of love. And so, thank you for that beautiful reminder of the balance. I also wanted to say that what a beautiful reminder of not to negate what we love, what gives us passion and joy, what comes to us so easily. And it's important to remember that those gifts are always there, right? Where the joy is always there. We simply have to remember that, oh my gosh, we love to do that, and not to judge that we love to do it, because that judging is like maybe it's our ego diminishing it or diminishing us. And yet just some folks, because of the 3D matrix, have lost all contact with what they love and what they do. So that was a beautiful reminder of, like, it could be anything, and we may not even have skills in this lifetime to say, like, for me, I know I love singing. Ask my family if I can sing, and they'll tell you something different. But see, that still represents that lifetime. So, as a writer for you, can you share with us what that was like to reclaim the gift of being a writer? You didn't want to write, you had an aversion to it. So, what was that like?
You know, it was very profound as I went through this process. And literally, it probably took me about a month of sitting myself down, right? We often have that kind of aversion to doing our own work, right? And so kind of sitting down and saying, okay, opening my records, show me that past life in which I could, write with ease and write, proficiently and was published and all of those things that I could spell, And what I found was I just kind of got over myself. My whatever, my arguments, my beliefs that I wasn't good enough or wasn't capable or it was too hard or I wasn't whatever it was, they just melted away with this little process of reclaiming and seeing, I've done that. Oh, I've done that. That didn't look hard, right? And the energy just coming back, because it's all always here in the quantum field. We can really pick and choose what energies we want to bring forward into our life now. What is going to serve me now? What is in my highest, and best to reclaim? What aspect of me from any or all of those lives is important for me to reclaim to be the highest and best me in this lifetime? So it really just kind of melted all those blocks, all my arguments, all of all of the garbage kind of went away. I signed up for a little 3-day workshop where I sat down and wrote for 3 days. And I was like, wow, that was easy. And there it was, a year later, of course, a little bit more work, editing, on and on. There I had a book.
That's so awesome, and so you sure there's learning curves along the way that you may have to take on, but just the awareness shifted the energetics, right? And it just dissolved everything. I love that.
Yeah, I think that's the way we see blocks dissolve very often. And I think some people, it's almost like we forget that they were there. And so when they dissolve with such ease, then all of a sudden we're walking forward and we're like, oh, look at me. I can sing or I can write. And it just becomes so much more natural. And there's really that grace in it, that like, oh, I didn't even notice. I dropped the struggle. That was part of that block. And yeah, so it's just lovely. And I think that this is, again, one of the amazing gifts of accessing the Akashic records to clear your blocks, clear past pain and trauma, clear our fears, reclaim our gifts and talents so that we can just move forward with so much greater ease and create the life that our heart and soul desires as we can remember, reclaim, and move forward.
Yes, remember, reclaim, and move forward with ease and grace and all the beautiful things that we have come to share. And so you have extensive lessons for people to learn how to access their Akashic records, how to reclaim these gifts. And it's a process, right? You open the records and you see, and that's pretty in depth. So talk about some of the courses that you have. This course
Mm.
that we've got available for those who are interested is absolutely life changing because you're actually teaching how to tune in even more deeply to our soul's wisdom. It's even beyond the higher self. Share with us what goes on there for everyone watching.
Absolutely. Um, so I have a live 6-week online workshop coming up. And what I teach you is my 5-step wisdom prayer system to easily open the door to your Akashic records and start a conversation with the beings of light, the Akashic record keepers. You have a whole set of record keepers that have been with you for hundreds of lifetimes, and they are here in service to support you. So these beautiful beings of pure divine light, they are still part of source energy. They have never been human, so they have no judgment, which I always think is a great, great gift. They are here to help you find the information you're looking for. So this is one of the great parts about learning to access your Akashic records this way. So I give you a sacred access prayer, which acts like a vibrational key to unlock those doors. You open the beautiful doors to your Akashic library. There are your librarians, and you say, so please show me what I can clear or reclaim to step more fully into my purpose. Show me a lifetime in which I was on purpose as a healer. if that's what you want to be? Or can you show me some lifetimes that were very powerful that I've brought back and I may be unaware of this time? So we can have all of these very deep, profound conversations with our Akashic record keepers, and they're here energetically to support us. So in this 6-week workshop, I am teaching you to open your records using a vibrational key, to connect and communicate with your record keepers, so that you really can start to open your heart in a bigger, deeper way and raise your vibration so you can follow your soul's path, so that you can understand the relationships that are in your life that you wrote about in your soul plan. Sometimes they're challenging or difficult, and so we're like, okay, why would I plan that? And when our record keepers explain it to us, it's like that, aha. And when we can get that, we can let go of a lot of the old pain and trauma and literally clear old karmic patterns that we've been holding on to for possibly numerous lifetimes. So as we open our records and have these communications, we're deepening into our soul plan, our purpose, our soul contracts, our relationships. We can gain great clarity around the next step to take on our soul path, especially when we're at a crossroads. And so during this workshop, it is 6 weeks, 2 hours once a week. We're online, and I will teach you 3 different access prayers that hold different star seed vibrations so that you can find the most comfortable kind of access prayer to go really deeply into your own Akashic records. I'll teach you 7 healing prayers, numerous healing, clearing meditations. My meditations are only about 10 minutes, so it's not like having to learn to meditate for an hour. They're always very kind of active, calling back the energy you've left scattered about, or really how to create boundaries so that you can live more on purpose and aligned to your soul's path. So I teach you 30 questions to ask to go deeper into your own Akashic records as you're learning to access and ask questions of your record keepers. So many different tools. Of course, you have the MP3s to download and keep on your computer, as well as a 45-page manual that you can download and print out. So you have this whole book with the access prayers, the healing prayers, exercises, 30 questions, so much information so that you can learn to read your own Akashic records with ease.
Beautiful. It really is an intimate relationship with ourself. And this is beyond our higher self. Yes, our higher self is the gatekeeper, allowing us to be seen certain lives, but share with us how this even takes us beyond the higher self.
Yes, it's very beautiful because I find very often one of the things that can be helpful is to create a whole amazing column of light really within our body, from our heart through our crown up to our higher self, which is the 12th chakra. And we can create this beautiful column and then really ask our higher self, highest and best, to open this energetic doorway to move even further into these source realms of wisdom, into our Akashic field and library. And so having a conversation, a running conversation with your higher self, I think is such a useful gift, right? So that we can have that intuitive knowingness in our lives as we go forward. But what I find is that when we can really see all the lifetimes that we've lived and how amazing we've actually been, all of what we've done, when we can see the planets we've lived on and know that we've been teachers and healers and guides, and maybe we've been politicians, inventors, wise, men and women, shaman, kings and queens, it's phenomenal to be able to realize the truth of who you are as a soul. And this helps us as we move out of our old beliefs that we're just this little person. So even when we have pretty good intuition, often that's very much, and our higher self is very much about guiding us in this life to do what we've come to do in this life. But what the record keepers love to remind us is we're so huge when we can reclaim it all or realize it all. It gives us such a different perspective. It's kind of like taking a little rocket ship to the moon and looking back at planet Earth and going, wow, okay, now I get why I have a soul contract to help to support Gaia because of her beauty and the amazing energy that she is. So when we're living just down here on planet Earth and, slugging along through the mud, it can be challenging. But when we take that ride up into the Akashic field and we look at our lifetime and lifetimes, and we can understand this huge picture of who we truly are, it's so much easier to kind of move back past hurt, problems, even terrible traumas that we've experienced in our lives. We can see it in a different way. And it makes it easier for us to kind of let go, to take the gifts, the wisdom that we've learned, right? Because it's always about our learning and growth. We can take that growth, that wisdom, that learning, and possibly share it with other people on the planet, because there are always people who are looking for your wisdom when you've learned and grown around a subject, whatever that subject might be. There are people who are looking for that help and assistance. So we become the teachers as we learn and grow. So having that view, I find, makes it phenomenally easier to be human.
Yes, and again, that's what makes you a great guide for anyone who wants to go deep in the Akashic records. You are a master teacher. Again, you've tuned into yourself so deeply that you've connected with that master that you are, and you're helping people go there and do this and open that conversation with their beautiful record keepers and their higher self. That is the new earth. When we're able to do that, this is what we talk about with sovereignty, as we're each sovereign in our own space, non judgmental of others, letting them be where they are. This is the wisdom that is our divine birthright. And Lisa, you do such a beautiful job showing people how to do this. If we do not tune into ourselves in this way, it's going to only get tougher and rougher as the ego mind takes over and we stay in fear. But this, what you're doing, is tuning us into something so deep that it is unfallible. We cannot, it's unbreakable. And that is such a beautiful connection. That's New Earth, and that's the name of the game. And you're just a beautiful guide. And we thank you for this beautiful course that allows people to do that. Those are all recorded, right? Yes, so that can be home study if needed.
Right. Yes, I'll do
And
it live so you can get on and ask questions and share what you're experiencing. And we do this live, but of course it's recorded, so you can, if you miss one, you can download it, go back and listen and watch. And I love to do it with slides because it kind of makes us easy for us to just sit on our little computers and kind of watch along, open the records as a group, come together in this beautiful group energy of the Akashic field and share that with each other. So beautiful. And of course, you can, if you miss one, you've got that recording, and then you can always go back if you say, oh, I want to go back and do that meditation again, or and of course, there are many bonuses that are included in the program, because I always love to give people a discount on an Akashic reading and healing session with me. And I like to do downloadable MP3s of all the meditations you'll learn during the course. So you'll have those. You can put them on your phone if you want to pull one up and call back your energy after you've been out shopping or something like that. Take that 10 minutes to reclaim and to bring all of your personal energy back into your body, because as you say, it's important to be that sovereign soul in your singular body, bringing your energy here so that we can be in alignment to our soul path.
And yes, that's so beautiful. We hear from so many that they just want to find their way with it. And this is a path for us to truly find our way, working deeply with the Akashic field, the records of our soul. The link for that is here on this webpage. Scroll down. We'd like you to check that out. Enroll and get started today with Lisa. She really has this beautiful program that connects you deeper and deeper within yourself. Again, this is the name of the game, and it is a requirement for New Earth, this deep, deep connection within. So, Lisa, thank you so much for that. I just want to say, um, seeing the entirety of who we are is just a beautiful gift that the self love that comes from that just must be remarkable, right? It's there's no going back after we see that. It's like we can love ourselves so deeply and understand ourselves so deeply.
Yes. Oh, I so agree. And because you have these beautiful Akashic Record team who is here in service to you, if you're having a challenging day or you're stuck up against a block or you're not sure which way to turn or you're wondering, you know, is it in my highest and best good to stay in this relationship or to maybe even move, to a different part of the country or world? We always have that access to open our records and have these conversations. And I suggest and I teach that we never ask a yes or no question. We want to get the big picture. Why would I, do this? Do I have a soul contract with this person? Is there energy from a past life that would be helpful to know about? Is there a contract from a past life that maybe is stuck and we can clear and release? Maybe it's really outside of time and space. And so as we go and learn to go deep into our Akashic records, then it opens this doorway to ask so many questions about, any choice that you have that maybe you're unsure about, or even maybe you think you're sure, but you'd like maybe a little more detail. Like, I think I'd like to hire this person as a business partner, but do I have any soul contracts or past lives or karma or, useful to know that before you go forward in a relationship, what you've known about them in other lives, what you've been together in other lives. Are they part of your soul family? Are they really your twin flame? Right? So all these things you use this process, I would say daily. To me, the record keeper said many, many years ago, this is actually another path to awakening, because as we really learn to move out of our ego, our mind, into the Akashic field, raising our vibration, healing old challenges and pains and traumas, understanding, growing, deepening into unconditional love, we are literally awakening. We are continuing to raise our vibration and awaken just naturally, kind of step by step by step. And so this access is infinite and always there for you. Once you really learn how to do this and use this amazing ancient tool, it's yours.
It's yours. So learn how to use this amazing tool in this 6-week course with Lisa. It is available for you. Wow, that's 12 hours of work going deep and learning these processes to open the records and have a conversation with your record keepers and asking the guru within you. This is so beautiful and such a vital tool. And Lisa has that all for us. So thank you. One question that comes up, Lisa: soul contracts. If we are able then to see the soul contract, opening these records with this process, are we able to then change a soul contract?
We actually can, which is a great gift, right? Because what we see very often is a contract may be done, but we're still feeling stuck and responsible in some way or another. And so in that conversation with our record keepers, they will say, you know, you have done, A, B, and C, and a contract is a mutual contract, right? You have it with another person. So if you've done everything you can to make this contract work and they haven't, maybe they're not awake or they're stuck in an old pattern or they have their own fears that they have not been able to shift or change, that contract actually can become null and void. And it's helpful to actually know that it is and when it is. And so we can even do some energetic healing around it. Maybe they'll say, no, it's not quite complete. It's in your highest and best interest to take this step or to do this, or maybe it's a marriage and the record keepers say a lot of the contract is with the children, so it's very important for you for the next year or two, whatever, kind of the situation is. We're all very unique, but they can give us very detailed information about these sorts of things. It's not just kind of a guess anymore, right? We can be like, is it done? And they'll say, well, not yet. So, or yes, it was done 10 years ago. And you might be like, ah, I thought so, right?
Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, well, again, this tunes us in and taps us in so deeply with ourself that when we say we know what we know, what we know within, this is how we know it. So this is a very vital tool, very ancient tool that you have reclaimed and that you're sharing with everyone. Thank you so much, Lisa. As we wrap up today's course, I just want to give you a moment to close our circle.
Thank you. Oh, so again, just dropping into our heart. And we ask the record keepers to really fill us up with our highest Akashic light, wisdom, and energy that we can now hold after we've kind of shifted a little bit today through a little healing and understanding and expansion. And so as we heal and clear and shift, we're always able to bring in new, high, vital information and energy for ourselves. And so I just see the record keepers downloading it right into our little crown chakra, coming down into our body. So you might feel it as a little tingle, that beautiful Akashic upgrade. Beautiful. And we thank the masters and the teachers and the beings of light for the love, the wisdom, and the guidance. And we close and lock the group records for now. And so it is. Blessed be. And I thank you, Lauren. It is always so lovely to spend some time with you and everyone. So thank you for the blessing that you are.
Well, thank you. Thank you for this beautiful wisdom. You have raised our vibration. We are feeling happy and we are feeling hopeful because we can remember this connection. We feel that inside. Thank you, Lisa Barnett. Namaste.